Take a moment to thank you all for being here. Abbi and Jake have asked that Papa Norm stand and pray for our ceremony this evening.
Good afternoon. This is a day the Lord has made. Rejoice and be glad. This is a day that Jake and Abbi are going to take their venture through life. I would like to ask the good Lord to protect them, guide them, and give them all the love and maybe a few little bambinos. Amen.
Amen, amen.
God bless and have fun.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
All right, so we are here. I don't want to be so far away from you. We're here tonight to witness and celebrate the two of you coming together, finally. But before we do that, I just want you to take a moment, sit, breathe it all in. Look who's here. Look out. See who's here supporting you. Yeah, look. So much to be grateful for. The Hoffmans with this gorgeous venue, right? Your parents, both of your parents who have worked so hard to make this happen. Your parents with all they did last night, the beautiful flower arrangements, right? You and your mom and your hard work with the support of your dad and Jake to plan every little minute detail that it's just gorgeous. And grateful for all the support and the family and friends who are playing for you, standing for you, supporting you. And I am grateful to be here with you. It's been a good 8-9 months that I've gotten to spend with you, and I'm so grateful to get to take this next step with you. Right? Also glad that we get to talk about a little bit more on some things we've talked on in my office. Right? Love. We're here today because you guys love each other. So I was thinking, what can we talk about regarding love? So many things. I did a quick search online, and there's a million things about love, right? But two sources that stand out to me that I want to talk about today. One, from the Bible, 1 Corinthians 13. Many of us know it, have heard it, right? But I just want to read it for a minute. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. The second source I want to talk about is a little different than the Bible. It's a song by Clint Black. Do you guys know him? Right, I'm dating myself. So 20 years ago, he wrote a song about his own wedding day. And in it, he had just this lovely message about love. And he played with some of the terms that we often use when defining love. So I will paraphrase. I will not sing. I'll leave that to Brenna. Right? But in it, he writes that love is not something that we find. It's not something that we have. It's not something that we're in. And it's definitely not someplace where we fall. It's something that we do. Right? Though a little different, Clint Black and Paul, in writing to the Corinthians, both sources identify a very helpful construct that I want to focus on around love, and that it is an action. I hope that you two adopt this definition of love and that you let it carry you throughout your marriage. Because marriage is pretty cool. There are some great parts to it, right? There will be highs, there will be laughter, tears of joy, and there will be many valleys, right? Ones where you think to yourself, was I ever in love with Jake? Did I really say I do? Those days will come. And so to carry you through those valleys, it has to be more than a feeling. It has to be something that we do. It has to be something that we practice day in and day out, even when we don't feel it, right? So what does that mean? Practicing patience. So Abby, practicing patience with Jake. This might mean, right, that you patiently wait for him to fully understand what in the world you are so exuberant and excited about. And you might have to kindly and patiently say, Abby, hold up. Give me some more information so that I can join you in your excitement. Right? It'll mean great practicing of kindness and grace, hard ones as well, that while you're utilizing all of the tools that you have learned about communication skills in your marriage, and your partner clearly is not, or so you think, that you trust and hope that maybe not this time, but maybe next time they will. And you do not keep score. And that I try most of the time, and you really don't. Or you really don't, right? That you trust the other. Honoring each other when together in private, as well as with others, they need that honor, right? Protecting each other, respecting each other as you would yourself. Practice caring for your relationship, right? That while you sit with and know yourself, identifying your wants and needs, you also consider your partner's. And then with both of those in hand, make a decision that's best for you both going forward, right? Practice honesty and trust, sharing with each other your deepest thoughts and feelings and beliefs, sitting with the other while they do the same. You protect each other, trust each other, hope for each other, always persevere, and I promise you won't fail. So the first day I met you, back in December, in my office, sitting on my couch, Abby declared, so Jake and I, we actually have a lot in common. I said, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, we are very hardworking, driven people, and we get things done, right? You do, right? You get it done. And listening last night to some stories at the rehearsal dinner from your parents, I think most people can attest to that as being true. I heard about you graduating from middle school or junior high, whatever they call it, and as your parents looked around and could not see you, you were up on the stage introducing yourself to the high school principal because you were driven to be successful at that next level, right? And Jake, very hardworking, very driven himself, that after a scary event that you were in, if I understood this correctly, you were in an ambulance on the way to the hospital answering phone calls to help make certain the PA system got set up at the event at school, yeah? Right. Hard working all around. So this is why when I talk about love and the work involved in love, I have a lot of hope for the two of you. Because you know how to work hard. And marriage is hard work. It's a magnificent work, but it's work, right? And anyone who tells you otherwise is only writing a song. So I've seen it, I've heard it. I have seen you guys work to nurture and grow your relationship in the last 9 months. Very hard work. So I'm hopeful. And in a moment, we're going to say some vows that speak to the commitment you're making to each other, right? And the work you're going to do ahead, right? Before you do that, I know you've asked Coach Robinson to talk a little bit about the two of you because he's been in on this since I think the beginning, right? So, Coach, will you come up and talk a little bit?
Sure. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, my name's Craig Robinson, and I haven't known these guys from the very beginning, but I've known them for a long time, and I want to thank them for inviting me to be a part of this wonderful celebration. And before I dole out these words of wisdom, and I know, believe me, I've been to a lot of these, so I won't kill you with like 8 stories, as coaches do. But I do want to brag on these two for a minute. For those of you who don't know, Jake was a manager for me when I was coaching, along with a couple of his groomsmen here, and I think I saw another manager in the audience. That's Hoove all the way back in the back end. Now, I can't tell you, this, it warms my heart to see these guys have these kind of relationships. And by the way, forgive me keeping my sunglasses on. You guys know I work on TV now. You have to wear sunglasses all the time. But Jake, all these managers were great managers, but Jake was really special. As you all know, he's extremely bright. And as we heard here, very hardworking, very conscientious. I mean, this is a guy who could do any job there is to do, especially eating goldfish. Eating goldfish. And I'm gonna tell a little story here. My father-in-law works for Pepperidge Farm. And he sends us cases of goldfish. And I couldn't get rid of them until we hired Jake. I've seen Jake eat a gallon of goldfish in one sitting. Now, as wonderful as Jake is, you guys may not know that Abby's had the most important job to our family. Abby was the primary caretaker for our 2 youngest boys, Austin and Aaron. And sometimes Leslie, who's a little bit old to have a nanny. But Abby has been so good to our family. Warm, loving, she's smart in her own right, very engaging. And for all of you who are parents out there, the best thing I can tell you about Abby is whenever we would go out or go on vacation and we needed a babysitter, out of these 2 guys' mouths, is Abby coming? And as a parent, that just warms your heart. Now, Kelly and I have gotten to know these 2 a little bit deeper because Abby was a nanny. Jake had nothing to do with Abby being hired as a nanny. As a matter of fact, Jake, my manager, who's in my office I spent more time with Jake than I spent with my wife and kids. He knows we're looking for a new babysitter, a new nanny. Does he suggest Abby? No. No, he doesn't. I kind of like that, though, because he didn't want to mix business with pleasure. And just in case it didn't work out, he didn't want to lose his job. It was my assistant at Oregon State, who's also here, Jamie, suggested to me, have you met Jake's girlfriend? And I was like, Jake has a girlfriend? Now, mind you, these guys have been dating since 3rd grade, probably when you introduce yourself to the principal. No, they've been dating a long time, but not since 3rd grade. But everybody knew Jake's girlfriend but me. Well, my wife interviewed Abby, and to make a long story short, we're standing here at this lovely wedding. Now, I'll close with the words of wisdom that I'm contracted to do by the program. But before I do that, let me just tell you that Kelly and I really got to know Jake and Abby together after a year of Abby watching our kids, because initially Jake would never come to our house when Abby was there. And you find that funny. Everybody else is like, what the heck's wrong with that? Well, he was trying to keep it professional, and finally my wife said, well, you know, Jake, instead of studying at the library, why don't you study over here? You and Abby can spend some time together, because these guys, they go to bed at 7:30, so, you know, we usually didn't come rolling in till about 3 in the morning. I'm just kidding, that was supposed to be a joke. But when we came in, we would spend hours talking to these two. Now, it wasn't like old married couple talking to young couple. It was really a give and take. We talked about family. We talked about life. We talked about kids. We talked about everything. And it was during that time that we learned something from these two. And that trait, which I think is going to make this union work the best, is adaptability. These two very young, mature people can see issues arising before they happen. And that is so key in relationships. And that is something that Kelly and I have taken from these two. So I want to thank you for that. And thank you for being a part of our family. Now, the words of wisdom. These two both have great sense of humors. Keep that sense of humor. It's more important than the communication, all that other stuff. It's more important. Keep a sense of humor. Always maintain the ability to compromise, especially you, Jake. I'll go the other way. You know, my dad told me when I was getting married, hey, Craig, give in on the little things, because it makes it easier to give in on the big things. Always empathize with each other. See the other person's side, which you do already in that adaptability. And finally, and most importantly, and I don't hear people talk about this enough, we have seen you two not only as a couple, lovers, but you guys are best friends. Always remain best friends. Always like each other. Because if you like and respect each other, you'll always be in love. Thanks a lot.